Yeah. So let's talk about Cardano. What are I know like that's Cardano is one of my long-term holds. For me, if I had to rate um my long-term holds, I would say Bitcoin's one, Ethereum's two, and then my second pal is Chainlink, Polkadot. I did have Matic in there, but I don't. You told me something about Matic where if one of the
Multi-sig.
key decision multi-sig, if one of those get compromised and the whole blockchain is broken. So I kind of put that more on my short-term list, but I've actually cut down my list a lot. And then ADA is in there. All right. So what are some things about ADA that you actually like and actually see it doing better than Ethereum?
Well, first is the fee structure, the gas fees. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people, so it's weird depending on how we're talking, because if we're talking about like the all of United States, well, most of those people don't do daily transactions on Ethereum. They're buying and holding it, right? So that wouldn't apply to them. But the people that are actually interacting with the network on a daily basis, like buying NFTs, trading NFTs, swapping in and out on different decentralized exchanges, those people like are getting screwed by big
Yeah.
time. For some time, like, and this has happened multiple different times. I'll be going to buy something that is worth, let's say, $100, and then when I go to swap it or whatever, do the transaction, the fee is like 30, 40, 50% of that, and it's like, what?
It's looking like you're looking at a transaction you were trying to do as you were saying that.
Yeah, like, oh, I was looking, so I have the gas tracker up, so I was pulling up the gas tracker to see what it was right now. And yeah, so even like right now, like if you let me see here, I'm just gonna pretend that I'm swapping something right now just to see what the fees are. So 0.03, and let's say I wanted to grab that review swap. So I was just pulling this up right here. It's ridiculous. Sometimes you'll have the fees be 50, 60%, right? So I just put in that I wanted to swap $200 worth of Ethereum into something else. And so right now it would cost me $35 to do that. And 200, that's 20%. So $35 to 200, that's almost $40 of two. Yeah, so it's almost 20%. So that's a crazy fee, right? 20% fee just to swap something. Like a 1% fee or a 2% fee, like that's normal. That okay, like yeah, I'll give you $1, $2, or $3. And now this is low end. This is a good price. $35 to swap something right now. That's a good price, which is sickening, right? Like that's crazy. 20%
Yeah.
is a good price. So that right there is just not sustainable in my book. You have people that are whales right now that they'll pay these gas fees, especially in the NFT space. It's like get in as soon as you can, so
So
that way you can flip
they're
things.
writing it off. So they're writing it off.
The gas fees are writing them off.
Yeah, I'm sure they are because that's the cost of doing business. So they're probably writing that off.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't talk about crypto and taxes too much just because I'll get lost in the conversation. But but uh but yeah, either way, it's not sustainable. No one's trying to pay 30% of their transaction. Like that's crazy.
Right.
So
Right.
with Cardano, proof of stake blockchains to me are just kind of like the move, especially when you have all this like energy FUD comes around every so often with different months.
Right. Right.
It just makes more sense. Cardano is also like not only Charles Hoskinson, they're going to use, instead of Solidity, they're using Haskell as their coding language, which is much harder to use. And you would say, like, why would you use a harder coding language? That doesn't make sense. But just like you were saying at the beginning of our call when we were talking about coding, developers, they like the challenge. They're in coding to like figure out, they like complex problems, right? Can I solve this complex problem? So Cardano has taken almost 6 years to narrow down. And right, they could be BSing this whole time. Maybe that they took these 6 years and it was because of their incompetence. Maybe it was because they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing well enough.
Supposed to be
So
doing. Yeah.
yeah, so that could be, I could be completely wrong. But from the vibe I get and from what I've seen and what I've read and what I've watched, I do believe in them. I believe that they were taking the time to, work out all the bugs, get out all the little stuff. Actually, like you were just saying, Polyswap just got hacked, right, for 600 million. So 2 days before they got hacked, they actually posted and said on their website, they said, will Cardano have smart contracts before September 1st or something? And you could literally bet real money on if they were going to have it, yes or no, before then. So it's kind of like a slap in the face to Cardano. And then Cardano is kind of like, okay, whatever, that's how you want to operate your business. We understand. And then they get hacked. And then Cardano, you know, in a little bit of haha fun, comments on their Twitter and says, maybe you guys should have took a little bit longer route in building your code, because like, you know, Cardano is taking all this time to build their code and they're trying not to have $600 million, the biggest hacks in DeFi happen. So it's like, you know, give and take there. So
Yeah.
so yeah, big fan of the Cardano.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole, and I talked about this in the EYL crypto group. You know, that I think there's definitely going to be more DIO hacks coming. There are going to be more DeFi hacks coming. And it's very interesting. Like this hack on Poly Network is really reminiscent of what happened on the Ethereum DIO hack that created Ethereum Classic, where you had the hacker say, "Oh, I was just trying to see something. I wasn't trying to steal." Like, no, bro, you created a child wallet off the parent wallet with the intention of stealing all the money, and then it's still stuck there. But it's like a whole nother story. And then you look at Poly Network, this guy, or whoever. Have you read the communication he had with someone was interviewing him on the blockchain?
Weird. Yeah, the fact that he was writing on the blockchain was crazy.
I've read it and I'm like, he sounds American actually. When you look at the way he was writing and stuff, it actually sounded American, like he was an English speaker.
I thought that he was, however he was writing it, he was kind of trying to write it as if, you know, because isn't there a little bit of broken English in it?
I need to reread it again, but from what I sounded,
I only saw it on Twitter, so I'm not sure. Like I didn't see the whole thing, but I think what you're saying is right though. I think he was like more of an American person trying to, you know, there's a lot of people in the Far East that in Asia countries that you know are known for hacking and known for computer stuff like this. So I think that he was trying to give off that vibe, but it didn't. Like he's definitely American. So
he's
I agree.
Definitely American.
Or she.
In his case, you know, he wasn't able to get access to the money, and he actually gave, I think, $45,000 worth of Tether to someone who helped them figure out how to get Tether off or something like that. They wrote him a suggestion on blockchain, on Ethereum blockchain. I think it worked, and so he gave that person $45,000. And I'm like, that's a necessary to the crime.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm keeping up with it. He's like, "Oh, I'm just going to give the money back. I was just playing." I'm like, yo, he can't access the money. Like it literally reminded me of the same guy who did the child DIO hack. You know, and it's like, I think what's going to happen eventually, these are going to become federal crimes. Because these things are becoming more prevalent. And one of my favorite responses to a hack was when NIM money was stolen from I think it was CoinCheck in Japan. Some Japanese exchange was hacked. And typically what happens when the exchanges are hacked, this particular exchange, they had all of their cryptocurrency in hot wallets, basically just sitting in the browser. They didn't have any cold wallet storage like Coinbase. Like Coinbase, that's one thing I do love about them. And for the record, I am investing in them. But the way they do cold storage is, I think like 5% of their Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is actually online. They print out the private key and they put it in safety deposit boxes. So it's kind of ironic that the best storage for digital assets is offline, but another story for that. But NIM, this exchange contacted NIM, was like, "Hey, just give us more NIM." And NIM was like, "We're not doing that because it's our fault." But what they did was they created a color-coded system for tracking all of the NIM that were stolen. And they were actually able to follow the NIM around the world. And I thought that was like really cool. That's why NIM is it's not one of my favorite projects, but I really respect that team, like coming up with that. And you see that same thing happen in the Poly Network hack where, you know, he couldn't move the money anywhere. Yeah. And that's why he gave it back. Which it's like,
and then he tried to flip and say, "Oh, I did this just to let you guys know about it." Like, it's like, all right.
Right.
Yeah.